Pumpkin the cat, mini me. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I don't know who they are, but I know someone said it, and truer words were never spoken. As a handsome, smart, and beloved tabby cat, I find that others are often jealous of my luxurious lifestyle. It makes sense that everyone would like to be me. Who wouldn't? I worked hard to build a wonderful life for myself. It started with selecting the right human and forever home, and to this day, that remains my greatest triumph. I immediately assigned Mom the responsibility for my care and well being, and she now faithfully handles all of my needs, so I can kick back, unwind, and enjoy my days. My mornings start whenever I'm good and ready. If I wake up feeling drowsy, I roll over, close my eyes, and go right back to sleep. When I'm ready for breakfast, I place my order with Mom, and she dutifully prepares a delicious meal that's served in my shallow dish, which is the ideal size and depth for me to eat without getting my whiskers dirty. Mom is aware that I only eat chicken, turkey, duck, and fish, and that I dislike combining flavors. My food must be pureed into a fine consistency because I also dislike chewing, which is a hassle. If I'm feeling thirsty, I simply hop into the white tub in the bathroom and meow for Mom to pour cups of water in front of me until I'm ready for a cool drink. Sometimes I just watch the liquid run into the black hole at one end of the tub, and I'll only start drinking when I'm sure it is pure and at the correct temperature. I have an abundance of toys and loyal servants who are always eager to play with me. Mousy, Miss Fish, Bo, and Ball of Yarn enjoy laying on the ground and patiently waiting for playtime. My visits are undoubtedly the highlight of their day, as their other activities appear to be somewhat dull. When I require attention, I simply insert myself into whatever activity Mom is engaged in and persuade her to stop and pet me. She generally obeys and gives me the time and attention I deserve. She's always busy, and I wish she had more free time to focus on me and my needs. Mom gifted me our current residence, which has several rooms and many towering surfaces to perch atop. I have free reign of the place, which is equipped with two soft beds and a marvelous climbing tower. The views are wonderful, and I enjoy gazing out the window to observe my other subjects going about their day. I haven't met many of them, but as the ruler of this realm, I'm quite busy and want my subordinates to remember that my time is precious. I'm wandering through my many rooms, considering how envious others must be, when I realize that the door to the bedroom's spacious wardrobe is ajar. It has been a while since I explored the depths of these shelves. I nudge the door open further and assess the contents. There are several low shelves piled high with the many human furs that Mom and the man slip on and off each day. I don't understand these odd coverings that come in a variety of shapes, colors, and textures. Mom doesn't have natural fur, except on the top of her head. Perhaps she needs these substitute furs to keep her warm because she doesn't possess her own fluffy coat. I wonder what all the human furs might be concealing. The shelves are full, and they would be the perfect hiding place for something important and enticing. This would also be an excellent place to nap because I would be off the ground and hidden from prying eyes. Sometimes I just need alone time to unwind. One by one, I remove the stack of human furs on the bottom shelf and set them on the floor. They topple over in a messy pile, but Mom can sort that out later. The second and third stacks soon follow, leaving the shelf completely bare. To my dismay, there are no hidden treasures behind the human furs, and I'm left staring at the empty shelf. I crawl into the small space, test it for napping purposes, and decide that it will do nicely. I rest a while, enjoying the fruits of my labor, looking out at the mess of discarded human furs. I decide that the assortment on the floor would also make a cozy bed. So many options, and only 4 naps a day. I realize that the absence of a secret stash on the first shelf doesn't mean that there isn't something of interest on the second one. I drop down to the floor, stretch to my full height, and begin removing items from the next shelf. They rain down around me, and it looks like a small hurricane swept through the room. I hop onto the second empty shelf and scoot to the back to check for hidden panels that might contain something of value. This shelf also proves to be completely ordinary and uninteresting. Perhaps Mom is more creative with her hiding spots than I originally thought. I hop back down to the ground and am about to begin working on the third shelf when I hear the front door open and note Mom's footsteps heading this way. Looking around at the disarray, I scour my brain for a simple explanation that doesn't implicate me. Mom enters the room as I'm fleeing the crime scene and tosses the outer covering, which she wears outside over her human fur, onto the bed. I try to distract her from the disheveled state of the room. She pauses and stares at the human fur strewn haphazardly on the floor. I refuse to look in that direction, and when her gaze settles on me, I turn away and pretend that the plain white wall has piqued my interest. I've never noticed how flat and white this wall is before, I think to myself. Now that I take a closer look, I realize it's not white at all, it's off white. Mom sighs, whispers my name, and sets to work repairing the damage I've caused. I step onto her outer covering, which is still warm from her body heat, as she reorganizes the wardrobe. I curl up and wrap my tail around myself, enjoying the cozy feel and her lingering scent. This is an excellent heating blanket, and I could use one of these before every nap. Mom returns to collect her outer covering after cleaning up my mess and pauses when she notices me happily bedded down. I look up at her with wide, innocent eyes, trying to convince her that I would never dream of sifting through her belongings while she was away. I have the utmost respect for other people's privacy, so it must have been one of the dogs. Mom doesn't seem too bothered by the situation, which I take as yet another sign of her unwavering love. It's as though I can do no wrong. I certainly adopted the right human. Mom wanders away, but returns a moment later with one hand behind her back. I wonder what surprise she has in store for me today. I hope it's a new recruit for my mouse army or a fresh bag of chicken treats with soft centers and crunchy exteriors. They're my favorite and come in a cheery yellow bag that makes a distinct crinkling sound when opened. It acts as an alarm, alerting me to stop what I'm doing and rush over to devour the savory morsels. Mom rubs my back a few times and presses her forehead against mine. In return for her loyal service and affection, I gently touch my nose to hers. Mom then presents me with a perplexing object, a fluffy cat shaped creature. She places it beside me, and I roll over to carefully inspect this intriguing present. It has long whiskers, orange stripes, a patch of white on its face, and big black eyes. A long sniff reveals that it's definitely not alive and may have more in common with Miss Fish or Mousie. It's far too large to be one of my toys and closely resembles my own stature. Our fur colors and patterns are similar, although my stripes are not marred by white spots on my face and paws. I reach out to touch it and find that it's soft, squishes easily, and lacks bone structure. It appears that an artist created a sculpture in my honor to celebrate my silky fur, elegant whiskers, and handsome face. This creature bears a vague resemblance to me, although I'm far more handsome and regal in appearance. It's a bit crude and must have been made by an amateur. Still, I'm honored by the offering and shall display it somewhere prominent for all to see. Perhaps this will inspire others to present me with comparable gifts, and over time I will create a gallery full of my own likeness. All great leaders need a dedicated room to celebrate their magnificence and ensure that they're remembered throughout the ages. The fact that complete strangers are using me as a model for their craft will do wonders to help spread my name far and wide. If these works of art can be distributed across my extensive lands, then subjects in even the most remote locations will come to know my face. This will undoubtedly inspire loyalty and deter any potential usurpers from challenging my authority. Please thank the artist, but send them a recent photo so they can create a more accurate replica. This is an acceptable first attempt, but I hope they can improve, I tell Mom. Then have one of these delivered to each household in my territory so everyone will know my face and can worship me. Mom leans down and kisses the top of my head. She kneels beside the bed, holds up her phone, and calls my name. I glance over and hear a soft click. She proceeds to run her fingers over the phone, smiling as though she has done something clever. I've seen this behavior before, but don't know what it means. The clicking sound usually occurs when she's holding the phone still and elevated. Did you not hear me? I ask. Put that away and see to my request at once. I'm eager to have more of these produced and distributed. She simply pats my head and murmurs something softly before walking away. I'll check in with her later for a status update. I return my gaze to my almost twin, who is lying there with a pleasant expression on his face. I lean against him, discover that he makes a decent pillow, and drift off to sleep, content with my growing fame and recognition.